Good morning students. Let me introduce myself to you. My name is Zarina Islam and I am going to take subject science for class 7. In your book there is a chapter that is nutrition in plants. In class 6 you have already learned about various components of food. These are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, etc. These components of foods are also known as nutrients of food. Why do we need food? We need food because it gives us energy for carrying out different kinds of activities. And the process through which we can get food and utilize the food for energy is known as nutrition of food. Nutrition is both for animals and plants, but in this chapter we are going to discuss about plant nutrition only. The mode of nutrition, that is the way of nutrition, are of two types: autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Auto means self and trophic means nourishment, that is self-nourishment by an organism. The process through which organisms produce their own food by themselves is known as autotrophic nutrition. And the organisms which follow this kind of nutrition are known as autotrophs. Again, in case of heterotrophic nutrition, hetero means others and trophic means nourishment. So, the process through which organisms depend on others for their nourishment is known as heterotrophic nutrition. And the organisms which follow this kind of nutrition are known as heterotrophs. Plants are the only organisms that can prepare or synthesize their own food by using carbon dioxide, water and minerals. So we can say plants are the autotrophs. Now two questions arises. There are so many parts of plants: roots, leaves, stem, etc. So which part of the plant is mainly responsible for the food production? Means where are the food factories located? Second question is, from where plants collect carbon dioxide, water and minerals? We can get all these answers by knowing about a very interesting and important process, that is photosynthesis. It is the leaf part where food production takes place. So all raw materials which are needed for food production have to reach the leaves. Green plants collects carbon dioxide from air and water and minerals from soil. The surface of leaves of plant contains some tiny pores or openings through which plants collect carbon dioxide. In this figure here you can see some pores present on the surface of leaf. These pores are called as stomata. Again, on magnification we can see the detailed structure of the stomata. This is the stomatal opening and the stomata is surrounded by some cells. These cells are called as guard cells. When we see a leaf section under microscope, we can see the arrangement of internal structure of a leaf. These are the pores of a leaf and these are the guard cells. Again, these are some cells where you can see some dot-like structures which are chlorophyll. It is a green colored pigment. Plants absorb water and minerals from the soil by roots and transport them to the leaves through stem by some pipelines. These pipelines are called as fascials. Now, carbon dioxide and water are present in the leaves, but these are not sufficient to carry out the process of food formation. Some other things are also required, and these are chlorophyll and sunlight. You have already seen the distribution of chlorophyll in leaves in the figure given in your book. This green color pigment helps in capturing the energy of sunlight. This energy is used to prepare food from carbon dioxide and water. This whole process of formation of food is called as photosynthesis. In this process, food is formed in the form of carbohydrate. Besides carbohydrate, oxygen is also produced, which is released for the survival of all organisms. We can represent this whole process in an equation as carbon dioxide plus water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives us carbohydrate and oxygen. The name photosynthesis is given to this process because it takes place in the presence of sunlight. That is, photo means light and synthesis means to prepare. So this was about the process of photosynthesis. To have an idea regarding cells, there is a small paragraph in this chapter. For example, if we consider the school building, the building is made up of so many rooms. Again, the rooms are made up of walls. The walls are again made up of bricks. We cannot divide bricks into similar items again. So, bricks are the smallest and structural unit of the building. Likewise, in case of living organisms, the cells are the smallest and structural unit of the body. Cells can be seen only under the microscope. There are some organisms also which are made up of only one cell. In case of structure, cells have mainly three parts, that is, cell membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. These are some cells. Let's consider one cell. The outer boundary of the cell is cell membrane. The spherical structure which is located centrally is the nucleus. There is a jelly-like substance inside the cell surrounding the nucleus which is called as cytoplasm. Rest part will be discussed in the next video. Thank you.